the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Yes, Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly Patreon update. Shalom, brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. Four corners of the earth. Blessings to my brothers and sisters. Yes, yes, yes. Shalom. All praises be to the Most High Ahaya in the name of Yeshaya. We're going to segue over into Patreon in a few moments. But before I do that, let me first say the water to you brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth who supported and continue to support our people through the storm that hit Jamaica. I mean, I'm at a loss for words with all the outpouring of blessings, the financial blessings that you've given, as well as your prayers. And all of the brothers and sisters in Jamaica says, man, a humble and thank you to my brothers and sisters throughout the earth. We rallied together, but we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go, okay? And I'm going to go into some of what we're preparing to do at the end of this particular update before segueing over into Patreon. Now, today we're going to just jump right off in the beginning of Patreon, taking phone calls, text, as well as Zoom questions and or answers. There's a lot going on in the earth, and we can interact with what's going on in your part of the world, telling us what's going on, as well as if you have any questions for us, today is your time to correspond. Okay? On the other side of this particular update. Now, before I go into anything, because I'm going to answer a few questions that came to me on this side of Patreon before segueing. All right? I'm going to answer a few questions that have come to me. Right? But first, let me set it up. Before I do so, let's first go into what the Most High is doing in the earth. Putting everything in its proper perspective. Putting everything in its proper perspective. Babylon is falling. Babylon the Great is fallen. And when we see what's going on in the political landscape, when you see so-called communists being voted in, when you see a communist, Mondani, whatever he is, being voted in as a mayor in New York. Now, we know all the isms: communism, Marxism, even whether it be capitalism. All of these are constructs of control set up by Edom as a form of what? Controlling God's people who've been scattered. All right? So when you see Mendani being voted in New York, understand it's more signs that Babylon is falling, being utilized as a communist to destroy ambition that comes with capitalism. Right? And that's what it is. It's making it where people feel entitled not to work. And by doing so, it takes away that spirit to advance. And that's what we're recognizing in New York. A greater sign, another sign that Babylon the Great is falling. Esau is losing control over God's people. So now he's throwing all of his systems at once against God's people, whether it be here, Africa, the West Indies, South America. He's using all these systems as a form of control, knowing that he's losing all of the spiritual control over our people. See? And that's what we are witnessing with immigration and all of that. These are just systems set in place to keep the children of Israel from rising. But it's a catch-22. They can't use these systems to destroy us without destroying themselves. See, that's the catch-22. Now, the hell will ensue regardless. What they have let loose on the earth, there's no turning back. So they will destroy the earth and all people in an effort to destroy us. But keep in mind, brothers and sisters, that's why it's more important than at any time in this earth to come under the hedge of God and keep the commandments. Keep the commandments and love thy neighbor as thy love thyself, which means don't do to anybody, anyone on the earth, things that you know would offend you if the shoe was on the other foot. At least start there. And also, if we have done things wrong in the past, instead of beating ourselves up with guilt and darkness, repent. Just change your ways and the Most High will accept you, because he's the only one that's going to be able to protect and provide. To protect and provide. He's going to be the only one with what's coming through those doors. Okay? So this is where it is. Before I pull this up here, I'm going to show you all this in a moment. Isaiah 47. Now, the symbolism I want to tell you of them showing all these foreigners running America is Esau is telling you that what? They have gotten everything they can out of this country. They have achieved what they needed to do through this country, and they're now dismantling everything. That's it. They don't care who's the face of a mirror or whatever the case is. The country have gone to crap. They've intentionally pulled the plug on America, and America is finished. America was really the Gentiles' heaven on earth. That's what America was. An opportunity to behold the glory kingdom that Satan showed to Christ. If they would bow down and worship him. Well, America is the kingdom that's promised for earth. But we understand that there's a greater kingdom to come. And right now, what Esau's doing, he's letting all of the Gentiles who've conspired against us bask in America's glory at the very end, knowing that what? America is finished. Isaiah 47:1 says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, these are the wise men, for thou shalt be no more called tender and delicate. Take the millstones, grind the mill, and uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. So what does the Most High see in here? What is he showing the prophets here? Statue of Liberty, come off your throne, lift up your dress, and go walk in that water, that harbor that was there to accept all people who worship you. Semiramis, get down off of your throne. That's what the Statue of Liberty represents, and this is what the Bible is illustrating. Right there at the harbor of New York, it says, bring me your people, bring me your war-torn, bring me your suffering of your nations, and come and bask in the glory of a kingdom that only Satan could provide. Temporally, the best place to live on earth. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. See? So when certain things happen in the earth, understand the Most High is allowing it to happen. As of our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt be no more called the Lady of Kingdoms. The Most High stated here in the 6th verse, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So the Most High took the protection off of us, and these nations ravished us, destroyed our people for generations. And the Most High is saying he remembered this because why? They showed us no mercy. Not once as a whole, I'm speaking of these Gentile nations, not once as a whole have they treated us as if we were God's people. The Most High never forgot this. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou hast said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou art given to pleasures that dwelt carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am. They're saying that they're the Most High, and none else beside me. Brothers and sisters, did you know that there was no such thought of atheism type of thinking until the rise of America? All nations before this new world understood that there was a God above all gods. If Esau can convince you that what? That there is no God, then you'll see him as your God by default. I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. That's what they think. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and one day, the loss of children, widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. America was set up on witchcraft, folks. It wasn't enough that the Most High allowed us to serve them for a time. Okay? The Most High already cursed us. But on top of that, they would use witchcraft and sorcery as a form of entrapment to keep us under their thumb, under their foot forever. They used the craft against us. They continue to use the craft, witchcraft, and sorcery against us. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. The so-called founding fathers of America were sorcerers. They were Edomite sorcerers from the Hellfire Club of England. Top Scottish and Yorkite Freemasons. Pledged an allegiance amongst one another, amongst the Edomite families, to keep Jacob controlled through their policy. With the multitude of thy sorceries, the Most High said, stand, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If it be so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Let's see if the witchcraft you've been using against God's people will work. That's what our God is saying. You've tried everything. You've released the pits of hell against God's people through your healthcare systems, through administering poisons that you know turns to cancer. That's all sorcery. By poisoning the foods, that's all sorcery, folks. The Lord says here, 14, behold, thou shalt be as stubble. The fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm it, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shalt thou be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants. These are your corporations, folks, that control all products. Even thy merchants, who's making money off of our slave labor and have done so since chattel slavery. From thy youth, that means from your inception, America, you've been using the merchants in a system of merchants, capitalism and all these isms to keep God's people under your foot. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So eventually Mandani and everyone else is going to go back to where they came from once the judgment ensues. Now it says, let now the astrologers and the stargazers and the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee. Why am I bringing this out right now? In the midst of the storms that have hit Jamaica, in the midst of what happened, where a lot of these storms are even killing our people in Haiti, and a lot of our brothers and sisters over there who are still suffering from the carnage, of Cuba, who are Manasseh. Well, this leans into a question that was sent to me, and I got another one I'm going to read here. Someone asked, Elder Ricard Shiar, can you give me some insight on astrology? What is astrology? Is it good? Is it bad? Because there are some things about it that shows what? Behaviors according to one sign. There's patterns that you can recognize when it comes to astrology. And I answered back and I said, well, you have to understand that astrology was an unknown science that mankind was not to delve in. There is something true about certain behaviors based on what gate you went through coming from the heavenly realm sent by our Father into this realm. Okay, there's 12 gates that leads to earth. Angels travel through these gates, and when spirits come into the earth to be born, they go to a separate gate depending on which month they're born in from 1 through 12. It had nothing to do with the months like we see named after gods, goddess, October, September's, and all these other things we see. It was 12 gates named after 12 months, which is what? Number 1 through 12. But only the angels and the celestial were to understand this particular celestial science. We were not supposed to deal with astrology because it's cheating. It's part of the craft. It's cheating. Well, some people might ask, well, Elder Ricard Shiar, what do you mean by it's cheating? Well, if you understand certain patterns when it comes to emotions and how a person thinks inherently under that particular sign, and you know how they'll react based on that particular pattern, one could use that as for a form of manipulation. You're supposed to get to know a person and their spirit and what's about them by investing time with them. Not just because your sign mixed with their sign. No. None of that means anything from the Almighty. Any person, regardless of what sign you were born under, could get along if they are governed by the heavenly law. Loving thy neighbor as thy love thyself. That's when the signs and all that astrology and all that have no bearing, because you got to know a person's spirit, the same spirit who sent your spirit into one of those 12 portals on the way to earth. Okay? So you're not supposed to deal with astrology because it's cheating. You're sitting here reading about a person instead of investing your time to get to know a person. And then it's a form of manipulation, understanding certain behavior traits that now you can manipulate that person knowing them based on that sign. It's wrong. Now, why am I bringing it up in the midst of what's going on in the earth today? Let me give you the origin real quick, and I'm going to be doing a lot of this on the other side with Patreon. Let me give you the origin of horoscopes according to the book of Jasher, a book the Bible refers to. It gives us the origin, the Babylonian origin of horoscopes. You notice I've just mentioned about what? Isaiah 47, where it says America or Babylon was built on sorcery. And the Most High says, well, stand with your astrology and see if that's going to be able to help you in that time of trouble. You should have been seeking me. That's what the Most High is saying. Okay, because only the Most High can save us from what's about to go down. So why am I bringing that up? Well, in Jamaica, there's a religion, Rastafarian. Now, instead of them embracing the 12 tribes that's written or that is written in the scriptures, according to genealogy, the Rastafarians, they turned the 12 tribes into recognizing what tribe you're from based on what sign you are according to astrology, not realizing that this is witchcraft. This is sorcery. The tribes weren't named based on what sign they were under the astrological table. So one would ask, and this is why the Most High is going against a lot of these places, because they've been engulfed. They've been engulfed in witchcraft. First of all, Haile Selassie was not from the tribe of Judah. He's a Hamite. He's a Babylonian from the tribe of Cush. He's a Cushite Hamite. That's number one. And you notice the Rastafarians, they would have what? They would have Rastafaria on signs, and then you will see all types of pictures of the Queen of England worshiping, that's right, the symbol, the physical symbol of what we see on the Statue of Liberty, Semiramis. It's all sorcery engulfed within symbolism, wrapped up in symbolism. And a lot of Jamaicans have dealt with this false belief, saying that you are the sign, you are the tribe based on what month you were born. Utterly ridiculous. What about if one of the children of Judah was born in the 3rd month? Okay. Would that make him Issachar? If a Judite child was born in the 5th month, would it make him Zebulun? See how ridiculous this is? But what they're hiding is what's being revealed now. The Most High is exposing all sorcery, and he's sending a judgment for those. These people would need to repent out of this and learn right. Learn Christ. You're not a tribe according to what month you were born, your astrological month. You are dealing with witchcraft. Right? Now let me go to the book of Jasher and show you, brothers and sisters, the origin of astrology and its link to Babylon. When you go to the book of Jasher, the 9th chapter, it tells us here, and the king and all his servants and Terah with all his household were then the first those that served gods of wood and stone. Terah was Abraham's father. He was an idolater, a friend of Nimrod. Okay? And it reads here, and Terah had 12 gods of large size, made of wood and stone, after the 12 months of the year. And he served each one monthly. And every month Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offerings of his gods. Thus did Terah all the days. And all that generation were wicked in the sight of the Lord, and thus made every man his God, but they forsook the Lord who had created them. Terah learned that on this side of the flood under Nimrod. So when you go into the history of these 12 gods, it's the 12 portals that people utilize for astrology. Each portal is what? Guarded by a celestial. That celestial is under the ranks of our God. Okay? Mankind worship these particular celestials when they aren't supposed to. And this is where you get astrology from. Okay? Here is some of the records that you can actually go into that the Bible refers to that goes in depth to identify a lot of the things that we take for granted, some of the things we see every day and don't know the origin of it or concerning whether it's right and or wrong. Okay? Now, the other thing, I had a sister, let me see if I can pull it up here. I told her I would answer this online before segueing over. All right. Here's a sister who texted not too long ago from the 803 area code. Greetings. Greetings. I've watched the video titled Edom, the End Times King of Babylon. I watched this yesterday, and it was exactly what I needed. It's one of the best classes I've ever seen, and I've seen many. My daughter recently returned from her trip to Cyprus, specifically Ayia Napa. Let me get it here. Specifically Ayia Napa and the surrounding areas of Cyprus. She mentioned that many people there were racist and often looked at her with disdain. After spending a month there, she said she never want to go back. This video provided a much needed clarity from start to finish. It answers questions I had only found partial answers to previously. I truly give thanks to the Most High and the elders this enlightening experience. Well, all praises be to the Most High. We're here to give you insight, help you connect the dots, and above all, follow the commandments, repent from all sins, and get under the hedge of the Almighty. That's the only thing that we ask, is that you follow the Most High and do what's right and transfer the virtue and the truth that you've received through these teachings, transfer that into the world and do your part. But again, Esau is the modern day Pharaoh. Okay, that was a great lesson we put together through the Spirit of the Almighty. And when she talked about she visited Ayia Napa and couldn't believe the racism, let me tell you, especially her daughter and all that. When I went into Cyprus and different areas, I didn't experience racism at all. A matter of fact, me and those that were with us experienced quite the contrary. A high level of respect. Now, number one, where you went in Ayia Napa, yeah, there's racism, and a lot of that all through the Greek islands. Esau's grandson, the Edomite in the Bible, Zepho, is buried in Ayia Napa. Ayia Napa is the party capital of all the island of Cyprus. And that's where the tombs of the gods, they got a tombs of the gods in Pea. They got also one over in Ayia Napa where what? Esau's grandson, after winning many wars, he's buried there. He became the first Pope of Rome. The Pope have nothing to do with our people. It's a seat that was set up by Satan through that bloodline. So when you see racism there, it does exist, right? But we started, when we were there, when we've traveled there, we started breaking some of those strongholds, right? That glass ceiling that's there when it comes to how they would treat our people. And because of our interaction with them, they showed a high level of appreciation for what we provided as a people. Now, I'm saying this to you, sister, to why your daughter probably experienced some level of racism. Napa is a party town. And what we tend to not understand coming from America, there's a different view of blacks, especially black women, going into these areas, especially alone. Listen to what I'm telling you. Because why? Unfortunate for us, a lot of our sisters that come from Africa and different areas who go there to party and all of that, and how these men use these women and all of that, you understand, for bedfellows. The image of our people sometimes precedes us. So when they see a black person, they think that it's one of the black women that's probably from one of these other countries who would come and just sleep with men and all that. And automatically they'll see sisters like that without knowing your background, where you're from, what have you. Okay? And they'll exhibit that spirit of looking down on us because they're used to doing this when it comes to the blacks that are over in that area who would just acquiesce to their demands. I've seen this. And keep in mind, these are the people that they have coming over to America, believing that these people are going to be able to exhibit that level of racism over here that comes easy and simple for them in the caste systems they've grown up under. And they're going to get their wake-up call. If they're probably getting it already. Okay? Now, while I was over there, I continually gave them their wake-up call. Hey, I'm not the one. You've never ran into someone who looked like me, who's going to respond like me. Okay? I'm going to treat you with respect, and you're going to treat me with honor and respect. And you look them right in the eye and let them know whatever you thought, guess what? I'm not what you see on BET, okay? I'm something different. And even when it came to, if it was performances, singing, whatever I had to do, right, and righteousness to make earn, I made sure they paid more than what they would pay someone in their own country. So then it comes down to the standards we set for ourselves. Okay? Personally, listen, I don't cry about racism. And the reason why I don't, I understand according to the law why things are. Okay? I don't cry about it. What we do is stand as God's people and break that negative image and stereotype the Gentiles have placed on us by not accepting anything less than them treating us like the children of God. Okay? That burden isn't on them to change. They're not going to change. Okay? The burden is on us not to be treated as such. To set the standard where there's consequences for racism. So again, we have to understand how we carry ourselves. Unfortunate, over there in these areas, when sisters and others come over there, you get black men who would work for nothing, who will come from Africa and all that and be treated like second-class citizens without responding. And you have sisters who will come over there and be treated like anything and it's widely accepted as the norm, not just by the citizens of these countries, but by our people who represent their country, Africa, and other areas. When they come there, they readily accept being subjugated by these people. But there's a shift that's going on. We have to let our brothers and sisters know that, they got to get out of that just being accepted by the other people and being subjugated. But when you come face to face with me, you want to challenge me. Okay? You want to put your chest out when it comes to operating with me, but yet you'll be subjugated outright by another race of people, East Indians and all these others. You have to change your mindset. You'll be ready to fight your own brother who did nothing to you, but be subjugated by a Cypriot or a Grecian or an East Indian or an Asian and acquiesce yourself to them. That particular mindset must be broken. And guess what? We're here to help break that mindset. All right? So traveling throughout the earth have given us a level of wisdom that, listen, you don't gotta like me. Okay? You can hate me if you would like. That's your business. I'm not here to change your upbringing. But one thing you're gonna do is respect me. And I'll respect you. If we raise our standards to at least that level, there'll be no reason for any of us going forward to cry racism. Because why? We have to stop seeking to these other people for validation. Okay? How they feel about us, who cares? You're going to respect me. I demand so. And when we raise the bar to that level, folks, the tables turn. Racism can only affect, Esau only have power with racism if it affects us emotionally. They can say the N-word all day long and I'll look at them like they're crazy. Like, oh, yeah, okay, all right, it's your mouth. Okay. What, nigger. Aren't you feeling this? Oh no, as long as you're saying it over there, it's your breath. Yeah, you can spit, long as the spit don't go this way. And hey, I'll teach you some proper decorum and respect and how to articulate yourself without using bywords if you would like. I'll educate you, but you better not lay your hands on me. See, they don't know what to do with a child of Jacob like that. Man, usually when I say this nigger word, it really affects them. Guess what? We've been desensitized from that. We desensitized. We've been called so many things that we don't feel it anymore. Okay? We're on to something different. We're on to rulership. That's what we're on our way to. We're not gonna let you bring us down. Guess what? Say what you want, but keep your hands over there. And a lot of you brothers and sisters, you're gonna have to grow a hard posture, a hard posterity to yourself. We're going through some tough times, and the sticks and stones may break your bones, but guess what? Names will never hurt you. We must get back there and raise our image, follow the commandments, and don't care what Esau is thinking of doing. His world is crumbling. So I wanted to put that out there with you real quick. But since we're speaking real quick, since we're talking real quick about let me see if I have it here. Since we're talking real quick about Zepho, right? In the book of Jasher, the 63rd chapter, in Ayanapa, where she said her daughter exhibited racism, right? In the book of Jasher, it talks about, in Jasher 63, it goes into how Esau, who went into Ayanapa, into Kittim, how he was trying to get with the Africans in an alliance to come against us who was in Egypt, and how we began to march in the wilderness. Well, it was Esau's son trying to conspire with Africans to kill us in the wilderness. Zepho, the Edomite, who became the priest over Rome. In the book of Jasher, it breaks this down, right? And one thing I wanted to pull out of this in particular, right? Let me see. Let me start at 11. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, heard their report and went forth to meet with his army, and he fought them there in the road. And Zepho smote the troops of the king of Africa with the edge of the sword, and left none remaining of them. Not even one returned to his master in Africa. So what happens? Zepho goes to this African king and say, I need you to war with me against my cousins, the tribes of Jacob, who are in Egypt. The African king went to a sorcerer or a wizard and said, I need you to give me some insight on whether or not we could win this war against Jacob, who've grown strong in Egypt. The spirits spoke to this African dude and said, listen, if you go against Jacob in Egypt, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, will utterly annihilate you, and your name will not be written in any future history, right? So this African king goes back to Zepho and say, hey, I cannot align myself against Jacob in Egypt. They're too powerful and their God is too powerful, right? So what does Zepho do? Zepho instigate a fight that he can't win, and now the African king aligns himself with an army to come against Zepho. Zepho went to his brother to help. His cousins to help, who were on the other side of things, right? The Greeks and other parts that were there. And they say, no, we're not fighting with you. We can't beat them. So what? Zepho prays to the God of Abraham. He prays to the God of Abraham, folks, and say, listen, I know that you are the God of all gods, and I'm willing to put down my paganism. Come, send your spirit to help me against the African king. Our God, hear the prayer of Esau. And the spirits went along in Esau's army under Zepho to wipe out all of the Africans who was against him. Right? You would never guess what Esau does after winning the war. A war that he could not have won unless he consulted with our God in fervent prayer and sacrifice. No sooner is Esau's grandson Zepho, no sooner as he won that war, he turned his sight against our people again in an attempt to war with us, even coming out of Egypt. He went back to the pagan gods and sought guidance to destroy our women and or children and all of that while in Egypt. Why am I putting this out there, folks? Here are the tactics of Esau. It doesn't matter. As a government, as a power, unified these Edomites who rule the earth, it doesn't matter. They'll use every form of warfare against us to consolidate power, believing that our forefather Jacob stole their birthright. So any way they treat us is justified to them. They'll tell us to bring our children into these places to get stuff up in them and all that. And guess what? They won't have 1 ounce of guilt if we bring back a sick child. Sorcery, witchcraft, weather warfare, all of that is what they're utilized because that's the only thing. Carnal power is what they were gifted with to destroy us. So again, when it comes to Esau, he exercised the carnal power of sorcery. That's what he does. And when our people exercise it, we don't realize, hey, there's a judgment for us. There's a judgment for us. So we cannot follow what Esau does when it comes to the sorcery. Eventually, he'll be taken down next anyway. But if we don't repent while the Most High is bringing judgment, we will be taken down in this sorcery. We'll be taken down through the judgment that comes against this sorcery, folks. Zepho, they'll use weather warfare. The Edomites will use anything they can, including military might, to keep their power over us, knowing that God is now calling back his people. We ought to repent, hedge ourselves, and don't care about how Esau feels. We're not going to him anymore for validation. We're going to pray to our God for protection through this storm that's coming. And we're going to rally under the hedge of God. On top of that, we repent from our past doings and see the power of the Most High work in our lives. All right? So I have to go to the other side, but before I do, real quick, let me leave this with my brother. Ra'ash. Give you our report on Jamaica.
Record. Peace and blessings, family. This is Ra'ash Yasharala. From Bethel Town right now, Jamaica, Eastern Westmoreland, where the so-called hurricane, which was a category 5 according to them, with tsunami, earthquake, and rain, and water, and wind. Just imagine that. Made it through the most I carry through the storm. You know, me and the lady that lives here. This is the house. We're just starting to clean up and put back some things. You know? Put back some things and together so we can actually function. But I heard that the world is asking and wondering. Just look behind me, look. This is just a little piece of what happened here. All of this place you couldn't see it. Monday you couldn't see nothing here in terms of the greenery was good. It was a pretty look. But today, there is nothing there. So I need the help. I hear that you're worried about me. The Most High carry me through. Thanks for your concern. Thanks that you're thinking about me. I need more than ever. I need the help. If whatever you can do, send it to the church. Send it to the elder Gocc. Just send some help for us, for me especially, because there's a lot of people depending on me in this area right now that needs help. So send some help for me. Thanks for your concern again. Stream the music too. Let's see if we can get some money, because we need it right now. We're actually in hopelessness. It's just because the Most High give us hope. A lot of people don't have nowhere to sleep right now. I understand it's hopeless, but I made it through. I'm okay in terms of life. It's just that we need food and you know, things to function. But thanks again. When you get this message, start to send some help, man. Send it to the church. Send it to El Lagaja, send it to the headquarters in Kingston. They are okay in terms of functioning. Don't decide we don't have anything. We don't have any current. So you won't hear from me again for right now. All right, blessings. Shalom.
That's right. So I want to thank you, brothers and sisters. We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go, but I'm going to give you a report from the last time that I made an announcement. And I thank you, brothers and sisters, for all your support, but we have a long, long way to go. Okay? I'm going to give you a report. And I thank all of those. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with all the support that came to us. Lord have mercy to the church. Strictly for this particular initiative for our brothers and sisters over there, we've already raised a good amount, but we still need more. Let me tell you what's going on with what we are about to do based on all the outpouring of support and financial support you've given. We are now in the midst of buying 2 full containers. The big steel containers you see with rigs, 2 of those, filling those up with generators, food, all the resources our brothers and sisters need, and have it go over into Jamaica to help as many people as we possibly can. None of that would have been possible without your support. Okay? We're coordinating with Jamaica as well as Florida to get 2 containers over there. Now, each container is $2,000 each we're paying for. And we're going to fill it up with everything they need. And it should be there if it be through the power of the Most High. We have somebody from Customs waiting on the other side to help us. Brothers and sisters, it should be there within 3-4 days for them to have everything they need to get through this. Okay? Also, since we're purchasing the steel containers, we're going to turn those 2 containers and put them on properties for housing. 2 tiny houses will build with those containers also. So the containers is not just going to go, they're not going to go to waste. Not only are we going to send the stuff over there, we're going to get some properties to put these containers on for housing. Okay? None of this would have been possible without your support, your overwhelming outpouring of support. And guess what? Nothing shocks me, but I was just so overcome when I heard the amounts that came from you brothers and sisters who sent in the midst of this particular disaster. It goes so far. The Bible tells us that charity covers a multitude of sins, and not that you're doing it to cover anything, but charity goes a long way with the Most High. To give our hard-earned money, in the event of certain emergencies and disasters. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do. And I pray that the Most High will bless you and continue to bless you, because this is the type of support we're going to need for each other to get through Jacob's trouble. To get through Jacob's trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link for those who would like to donate towards it. Every last dime you donate, it doesn't go to us. It goes to the people who survived that storm. Okay? And again, we talk about how the Rastafarians and all that are dealing with the zodiac and all that. And this is why the Most High allow a lot of those things to happen in the earth. But the side that people don't talk about are people like Gocc, like Ra'ash, who does the music and the gospel, and are now doing what? Converting many people over into the true ministry of the gospel. that Christ have conveyed through this church. He elected, even though we went to pull him out of the storm and so that he can live outside of what's going on in a more comfortable setting. Brother Ra'ash decided to stay in that town with no electricity, nothing going on, because everyone is looking for him for leadership and guidance. And he wasn't going to be taken out from amongst his people while his people were suffering. That is to be commended. And this is what Christ does through his church, brothers and sisters. He became a community leader just out of following the church and teaching them what he learned here. And now, in the midst of one of the worst disasters that have ever happened in that area, they're seeking him to guide them through this. That's the power of our people when we're unified. That's the power of our people in the, that's in this church, folks. People can say what they want. They can think what they want. But I'm going to tell you, when the disasters happen, when things happen, that's when you know who's your friend, who's there for you. People can say what they want, but what they can't say is that the gathering of Christ Church isn't there for you in time of need. And this is what the gospel is all about. And one day we'll all need help. Who knows? This is not just going to stop at Jamaica. And to know that our people can rally for one in an instance and only in 2 days and make this happen. This is the evidence our brothers and sisters need to understand when it comes to the power we have when we come together to pool our resources. This is an example. And I thank you. I don't know. There's no words I can express to say how much I appreciate you. And I'm going to tell you, everyone out there thanks you. They thank you. So even though you probably thought you didn't sin that much, let me tell you, based on the suffering, anything is good enough. It doesn't matter how much you sin. It was the fact that you had a heart to do so. I appreciate you. I love you. And guess what? The Most High see it. Okay? Again, let me show you how you donate. You go to gatheringofchrist.org. You go here and you click on donate. Once you hit donate, as you can see, here are all the options that you can donate to. And one of those is the bereavement fund and all of that. But this is where we are now. Disaster relief and emergency supplies. Right? So you see right here, you can donate right here, but you go down and you hit donate. You put your email, phone number, name, where you're from, your address, and also here's the place you can put your card in. And keep in mind, this is a protected site, so you don't have to worry about it. If you put your information in, we don't get that information. It's a protected site, okay? A legal protected site. Same way if you was on Amazon and all that, there's no fear of putting your details here. No one will get your details, okay? And then what you do from this point, you click the down button, hit disaster relief, type in the amount you're going to put in, and type in the purpose. The purpose, Jamaica. That's all you have to do. The purpose is Jamaica. If you put in $20 here, it'll fill in. Whatever you put in, it'll fill in and it'll go directly to Jamaica. I thank the Most High for you, brothers and sisters. And, it warms my heart to know in the event of hard times, we're here for each other. That's what being a child of God is about. That's what it's about. Okay, that's what being a child of Christ, someone who believes in Christ, a child of Jacob. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. Okay, I appreciate it. I'll see you on the other side. 1 hour, 1 hour of Q&As with the elder. I'm gonna bring you right in. We're gonna just start off the conversations, whatever you want to talk about. Some information going on out there that I need to know. Let's share that. But on this side, on the next side, Patreon, it's going to be basic Zoom, text, and I'll bring your phone calls in, questions and answers with the Gathering of Christ Church on the other side with Patreon. Doesn't matter what the questions are, I'm open to answer them as the Most High give me understanding to do so. All right. With that, this coming Sunday, we'll be going into the 4 beasts of Daniel, leading to the mark of the beast. Brothers and sisters, we're close. With that, see you on the other side, Patreon.com/agathering144. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Israel. And yes, starting next week, we will be taking enrollments for the next Hebrew and Bible Academy. We have, in the midst of what's going on in Africa right now, we're going to have something special in the next academy. Elder Lawyer will be reporting live on the ground in Africa. I told y'all many years ago that Africa will be the last battleground in the desolation. And already Trump is about to send troops there. Remember, I told y'all this, okay? Africa is the last battleground. Why? Because they knew it would just only be a matter of time before the children of Judah here in America would go back over to Africa, only to awaken the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who are still there. They knew it. We're not going back to Africa with a chip on our shoulder or an axe to grind, guilting our brothers and sisters who cast us off for dead, guilting them for their hand in our captivity. No, not at all. See, when the tribes of Jacob, the brethren, cast off their own brother Joseph into Egypt in the hands of the Arabs and left Joseph for dead, the knowledge and the experience the Most High gave Joseph all by himself built something in him. To a degree, Joseph became king over all of Egypt. Through that kingship, he was able to save not just his family, but the world. That's right. In preparation for a 7-year famine that the Most High showed Joseph how to get through. And he was cast away, thrown in prison, and denied by his own brothers, only to embrace them at a time they needed saving. Well, that's who Judah is. We're not going back to Africa. We understand the story of Joseph. The Most High did something with us here in America. We had to what? We had to rally together with no one to help but our God. And the God sustained us with understanding of governance and diplomacy and ingenuity. And with that information and understanding that got us through chattel slavery, that what was a beacon of light to the whole earth to understand how to stand against injustices. We understood why the Most High had us come here. So we're not going back to Africa to blame them for what happened. We're going back to Africa to share the gospel and to show them, hey, this is what forgiveness looked like. But you must stand with us through Jacob's trouble. And the enemy knew this time would come. So in the academy, we will have a special part of, we're going to have foot on the ground, camera footage, interactions with our brothers and sisters in this academy, knowing what's about to happen in Africa. And guess what? Elder Lawyer will be there to help us with that. All right. So, hey, brothers and sisters, this ministry is moving fast. And those who would like to be involved in the next installment of the academy, the theme and the announcement for that academy will be next week. Tomorrow, Elder Lawyer and I will be broadcasting live from the Philadelphia church. Okay? We won't be in studio. We'll be at the Sabbath, and we hope those that are in the Pennsylvania area come share the first month Sabbath with the elders here at the Philadelphia congregation. With that, may the Most High be with us. Stay prayed up, sin not. We will soon see Israel. And yes, we are the children of Israel. We're God's people. Yeah. And yes, we are back. See you on the other side. Patreon. Q&As.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. 721 BC. The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. So we be Manasseh, the Cubans. We from Puerto Rico, that valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, yeah, the North American Indians. Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering.